So you're thinking about moving to Lake Waukomis, Missouri. Well, it's your lucky day. In this video, we're going to be talking all things Lake Waukomis from Lake Waukomis, standing on a boat right now. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to take you around and show you some houses at different price points so you can see what you might be able to afford on your budget if you were considering calling Lake Waukomis your home. And we're going to get started right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Kansas City metro area and places like Lake Waukomis, Missouri, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know of the current market here in the KC metro area and places like Lake Waukomis. My business partner, Max Jones, the Mojo Real Estate team, and I have been helping people move in the Kansas City area for over 20 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take my word for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just pick up the phone, you give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call. All that information's in the description below so we can communicate with you and help you with that seamless transition into your new market. So today we are talking all things Lake Waukomis. I am on my boat. I live at Lake Waukomis, so this has a special place in my heart. I was born and raised here. I did move off to the east or to the West Coast for a few years with my family up in the Pacific Northwest, and then came back because I just love it so much, and this is where my family and friends are. So here I am. So I know a lot about this spot. So to start with, it is located just about 10 minutes north of downtown Kansas City and about 10 minutes south of the airport. So we're right on the highways, on the I-29 highway system, right between the airport and downtown Kansas City. So I love that location. Personally, I like to travel and to get in my car and be at the airport in 10 minutes. When I have friends and family coming in, they just call me when they hit the tarmac and I'm up there picking them up. I don't have to sit around the airport and wait. I already know they're there before I drive that direction. So I love that part about it. The size of Lake Waukomis, it is its own little city, which most people don't know, and surrounded by Kansas City territory. It is 0.46 square miles, so not that big. It has 875 residents and a little over 425 homes, both on first tier and second tier. So out here, some lakes you'll have first tier, second tier, third tier, whatever, fourth tier. Out here, we only have first tier properties, which that means your house is right on the water. You have a dock in your backyard. And we have second tier properties, which means you are on the other side of the street. There's a street that goes all the way around the lake, but you're just second tier. You can still have dock access and have your own private dock. You just have to walk across the street to get to it. So that's what that means. So Lake Waukomis was established back in 1947, back in the good old days. And it started out as a smaller lake, more of a recreational lake, which had, people would come up here to like put a cabin up here, and they'd come up on the weekends to do their family vacations. And over time, as the city grew north and expanded away from Kansas City, naturally it was close enough that people could start calling this their permanent residence. And then more houses started coming, people started tearing stuff down, doing a lot of add-ons, and it's kind of become what it is today. Now they did expand the lake at some point. I don't remember the exact year, but they took the dam. It used to be, probably can't tell where I'm pointing, but it used to be a quarter mile that way. They took it and they moved it back to where it is today, which probably more than doubled the size of the lake and certainly the depth. The depth right out here in the middle of the main channel, anywhere from 50 to 60 feet, just depending on water levels and exactly where you're at. So plenty of depth, which allows us to have lots of fish. We've got catfish, bass, largemouth bass, walleye, crappie, everything. We even stock it with trout once a year. So if you like to get out your fly rod and do some trout fishing, that gets stocked once a year. They don't reproduce here because it's not a running water, with streams and all that, but they do survive because it's deep enough that even in the summertime they could go down and make it through the summer. So if you're thinking about making Lake Waukomis your home and you've got a family, then you're probably worried about school systems. I know I was when I moved away. That was our #1 issue when we had kids, is we wanted to get some good schools. So you were in luck there. Park Hill is rated as A+ schools, and you are right in the Park Hill School District. You would have a high school up in Park Hill, which is the original one. There's also a Park Hill South now. It's a community's growing in this area. Plaza Middle School, also very highly rated, A+. And then Chin Elementary, which is also highly rated. So highly rated schools across the board. You can always check out greatschools.org or niche.com. All right, so if you notice the background, just jumped ahead and moved my boat. I was drifting into shore. So anyway, let's talk about cost of living, right? We know that schools are great. How about cost of living, Zach? Well, cost of living's coming in at 125% of the average, or the US average, which you kind of expect, right? We are standing floating on a boat in your backyard. So there's some amenities that come with that that are gonna cost a little more. But everything else, when you break it down, I've got a graph that will pop up. It's pretty much on par. It's just the housing that's kind of throwing that off a little bit, and the housing coming in at 125%. And I think the overall was 107. So really pretty affordable to be on a lake, to be in great schools, and to be so close to everything. It's really kind of a sweet spot. Let's see, the median income out here today is $98,000 for a household income. And then we'll get into some real estate prices here in just a bit, but property taxes are coming in right at 1.15%. And then sales tax, which this is kind of a cool thing. Lake Waukomis is its own city. Because of that, they can dictate their own. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's nuke and windy. Because of that, they can dictate their own tax. So, you know, the state's gonna have a tax, the county's gonna have a tax, and then Lake Waukomis has a small tax on top of that, which brings the total all the way up to 6.2%, which when you compare that to one of the biggest cities in the KC metro area, which is Overland Park, that's 9.2%, so quite a big difference. So out here we have sales tax. If you buy a new car, if you have a big purchase like that, you're gonna have to pay sales tax. So being in Lake Waukomis is going to allow you to pay the sales tax of that much smaller number. I mean, almost 3% less, over 3%. So that's a beautiful thing and something that not everybody knows about, but definitely want to point that out. Also, there's the e-tax. We talk about that a lot, but there's the earnings tax. If you live in Missouri and in Kansas City, we're gonna see if this works better. If you live in Missouri and Kansas City, then you could be subject to a 1% earnings tax, which means 1% of all the money that you make could go right to Kansas City. Now, it does go to pay for the police, the trash, utilities down there. However, it's not a lot of fun to pay that. Now, if you live at Lake Waukomis and you work in Kansas City, you still may be subject to that. But I happen to live in Lake Waukomis and I work in another suburb called Gladstone, totally exempt, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's just something, if you're considering this, that I like to point out about the e-tax and Lake Waukomis tax. All right, so taxes are good, schools are good. Let's chat a little bit about what is around Lake Waukomis. We've got all the grocery stores you could need. The Hy-Vee is the major chain here in this area, and Price Chopper, so those are both located very close by. There's also an Aldi's, and we also have a Sprouts, which is more of that organic grocer, and that's just down the street as well. So you've got all those options. The other three grocery stores that I did mention are also gonna have organic options. And then of course there's a Walmart that's also gonna have grocery. There's a Target, you've got those, you got your big box, your Home Depots, your Lowe's, we're right in the center of the action. There's a few major shopping areas. Burlington Creek, it's kind of an outdoorsy mall that's got all the shopping you can need. It's got some housing, some nice upscale rental properties, as well as restaurants and all that kind of stuff. There's a shopping area called Zona Rosa, same thing, nice restaurants, shopping, very walkable. There's a park up there where they do concerts in the park, so super cool spot. And then you're also close to the, like over by the old Metro North Mall, they've torn that down, they put up a Top Golf. There's some sand volleyball and bars and grills and all kinds of new stuff going in over there, and not far from that either. So we're really got a lot of stuff to do, splash parks for the kids, Oceans Fun, World's Fun, theme parks like that. It's all really relatively close by and located up here in the Northland that you have easy access to. There is, I like to touch on, like fine dining. I would say maybe not 5-star, maybe there is 1 or 2 5-stars that are up here locally, but a lot of 4 to 5s. Really nice places, really great food, really great cuisine. Maybe you just don't have to show up in a tuxedo kind of thing to eat it. But there's lots of spots like that, as well as plenty of fast food, and then plenty of mom and pops that aren't necessarily 5-star. So lots of great options there. In fact, one of my favorite, well, top 3 pizza places is Minsky's, and it's located just down the street from Lake Waukomis, and some great barbecue options as well, right? If you're gonna come to Kansas City, if you already live here, you gotta have your favorite barbecue spot. So we've got a couple of those nearby to try out as well. All right, Zach, that all sounds great. How about the crime out here? Well, crime, everybody's got their own scale when it comes to crime, but when you compare it to the US and to Missouri, we're bouncing along the bottom for violent crime. I've got this graph here that I'll pop up, and you can see where the yellow or the orange line across the bottom. It does have its spikes, which is kind of weird, and I'm sure that it's like some years there's nothing, and then I'm sure one little incident spikes it up. But for the most part, I feel totally comfortable walking around out here all times of the day. Everybody's super friendly. This has a very, I don't know what the word is, a community vibe. Like all your neighbors want to know you and reach out and want to help. And there's a lot of community events. And literally after you live here for a year or two, you pretty much know everybody and feel comfortable just tying up to their boats. Oftentimes we'll be out here and there'll be rafts of boats. Everybody's just tied up. We got like 15, 20 boats tied up. There'll be people swimming and just having a ball, and everybody waves, super friendly. This is a low horsepower lake. So as far as the boats, I'm sitting on a 22-foot pontoon right now with a 10-horse engine or a 9.9. So that's gonna be your max you can have on a pontoon. And then you can have a fishing boat or a little john boat as we call them, and that's gonna allow you to put an 8-horse on it, go a little bit faster, and have both of those boats tied up to your dock. So lots of amenities there. Let's go down to the amenities while we're talking about what else is super cool about Lake Waukomis. I'm gonna go down the list I have in my mind, and then I'm gonna go through, and anything that I've missed, I'm gonna look at my notes and we're gonna follow up on that. But just off the top of my head, we just put in a 18-hole disc golf course. So if you're not on the water, we can have golf carts out here. In fact, I'd say almost half the residents do own a golf cart. It's great for those days when you don't feel like getting out on the boat, or it's a little cold or a little windy. You can just zip around and wave at all your neighbors that way. So a lot of golf cart activity that's going around the road. We do have 2 parks. We have a North Shore Park and a South Shore Park. And at those parks, the South Shore Park is the bigger, kind of nicer one where they put all the attention. They got more space to do it. But you got 2 baseball fields. You have a walking trail system that goes around there and connects to other parts of the lake. We've got tennis courts, basketball courts, pickleball, no shortage of fun things to do at the park. There is a covered gazebo area that you can rent if you're having parties. We've had the kids' birthday parties over there, up there over the years. And so it's a great spot, lots of parking. And there's also the 18-hole disc golf you got put in. There's a few holes there. That disc golf course does go all the way around the lake. There's a few holes here, there, and everywhere. So you hop on your golf cart, you get to each location and get to throw, and it's a great time to get out and see neighbors as well. There's a community garden. I will go get footage of this too, and we'll include this in this video. We have a community garden. It's just on the back side of the dam. We can't build anything back there, significant structure. So there's a lot of big flat area behind the dam that's dirt. They put a fence around it. Residents that are interested can go down there and rent a plot, however big you want. I think it's $50 a year, something nothing crazy. There's water that gets pumped out of the creek so you can water your veggies and your fruits, and just a great spot. They have their own community and their own Facebook page, and I know the gardeners have a great time. You'll catch them down there having barbecues, and it's a really cool spot if you have a green thumb. There is a men's club and a women's club. Both of those clubs do a lot of good out here at the lake. They'll change oil in the boats, the men's club will, and the women's club does a lot of the gardening stuff around the entrances, keep all that looking nice. There's an HOA out here. It's not bad. It's an annual HOA. It's usually between like $360 and $600, depending on if you have 2 lots or 1 lot and how that's laid out. It does go by lot footage, but you know, basically that's a pretty good calculation. That's annually, and that's going to take care of our snow removal on our streets, because we have to hire somebody to plow our own streets, and then that's going to take care of the entrances and the lake stuff and just everything that goes along with keeping the neighborhood and all those parks up and looking nice. And we'll mention at the park there is a jungle gym. Some other cool things that I really enjoy about the lake is, you know, we talked about fishing, boating. There is a community building, so if you're interested in renting indoor space for a party, and a lot of times we'll have events at the lake. The women's club will do like a poker run, there'll be deck crawls, just all kinds of concerts on the water. We actually have 71 South is a band that half of them live out here at Lake Waukomis, and they'll throw us a couple concerts a year. And then people will like, Mr. Edwards over here has had a band on the back of his deck, and then we'll all line boats out here, you know, live music, you're floating in the water, hanging out with your friends and neighbors. It's just an amazing time. But the biggest and best time of all, it lasts for almost a full week, is the 4th of July celebration out here. We did put the video together a few years ago to try to capture that whole week in a short video. So I will put a link up to that in this video that you can click on to watch that, and you can check the description below. But that is a week chock full of just enjoying all things lake life. It's hot out here, we're on the water. We've got there'll be food trucks out here, there'll be games. We do boat races right across the dam there.
What else do we do? Watermelon races. We'll throw watermelons out in the middle of the lake. The kids will get in canoes, race out, and see if they can get them at different age groups. There's a boat parade. There's a golf cart parade. I mean, there's a dance. There's bingo. There's a concert at the park. All kinds of stuff happens. Lots of great food. Lots of great people having a great time, and it goes on for weeks. A disc golf tournament. I mean, the list goes on. So check out that video if you want to see people, residents, having fun for over a week in their community. I mean, I don't know of any other place that does it quite like that.
A couple more things that came to mind was there is an Easter egg hunt for the kids around Easter every year that the Women's Club puts together. There's an Easter keg hunt that the Mojo Real Estate puts together every year for the adults only, where we had an Easter keg somewhere on Lake Waukomis property, and everybody's out in their golf carts getting clues trying to find it. So that is one heck of an event. So all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, you can imagine, you get the idea. It's just a great spot if you're looking for a place where you want to feel community, have community, and you know, the second you move in, people are just gonna come introduce themselves and you're gonna feel like you've been here your whole life. If that's the kind of spot you're looking for, Lake Waukomis is the spot for you. There are other lakes, certainly in the Northland. We have Wrist Lake and Weatherby that are also similar to this, but they all have their different special things. So that's just something to consider. If you want more information on any of the lakes, reach out to me. We're here at the Mojo team. We are lake people. All right, let's talk a little bit about house prices out here. So there's a big difference between first tier and second tier. But to give you kind of the range and what's been going on in the last couple years at Lake Waukomis, we've had some of the bigger first tier properties sell over $800,000, right? You can still get on the water. In fact, it just happened for under $450, but it's rare and competitive. So I would say right now between $500,000 and $800,000 gets you first tier on the water. And then at that point, you're just talking about how big, how nice, where you at, are you in the backflow cove, are you on the main channel? A lot of lakes, you don't, like the bigger lakes like Lake of the Ozarks, you don't want the main channel, right? Huge boats, huge motors, blowing your dock up on with the waves up on the shore, just beating the heck out of your dock. Out here, there is no big boats, there's no big waves. So it's actually, most people prefer to be out on the main channel because you get to see all the action and you don't have any of the issues that you have on the big lake. So that's something to consider. So out here, the properties that are on the main channel and on the points tend to be valued a little higher or more desirable just because the views are a little better. So that's something to consider. There is second tier. So the average sale price when you take first tier and second tier, it's kind of hard when you're looking at some of these real estate websites and they said, oh, this property should be priced at this. It's really hard to do that, especially with an algorithm, because there's such a big difference between first and second tier. What you're selling is the view and the access to the lake in your backyard, right? So the algorithm has a hard time putting a price on that. But there is a big difference. So you can still get on Lake Waukomis second tier for, I would say, $300,000 is a pretty good spot. There's gonna be some stuff cheaper, of course, but if you want to be able to live in it and turn the key, $300,000 to $500,000 second tier, and then $500 to $800 first tier is currently kind of what you're seeing. The average, or the median sale price when you combine it all together over the last 12 months, there's been 18 sales. And when you have first tier and second tier and you combine them together, that comes into a $350,000 median price point. And that's what's happened over the last 12 months. But I can't tell you, it's about 2 houses a year right now that people are starting to bulldoze and build brand new construction. So that is happening, and that's kind of been happening for quite a while. So it's a thing. So if that's something you might be interested in as well, there's an opportunity, because as you know, a lot of these houses are old. We said 1947.
So it was established, and a lot of this place was filled up well before that, the 90s. So some of these homes are getting older. They have a lot of character. It's really cool. That's one of the things I like about Lake Waukomis is there are no two homes alike. And as you drive by and as we flash up some of this B-roll, you can see that. It just has a lot of character, really cool, and a lot of unique homes to look at.
So here we have the dam, and what is nice about the dam is it's not only a bridge to North Shore and South Shore, is that it also offers this big dam hill. So my kids always got a kick out of this when they were little, because they got to cuss and say, hey Dad, can we go sled on the dam hill? And we'd use it every opportunity they have. But behind the dam, I mentioned it when I was out on the water, is the garden. It is right down there. Let's zoom in and see if we can get a better shot of that. So yeah, right down there. It's all fenced in to keep the deer and the critters out. There's water that gets pumped out of the creek so you can water all your veggies. Sweet spot, a lot of ground. There's a lot of room left, and they can continue to add on to that if they need to. So if you have that green thumb, come on down, and then there is a road that just comes right on up to the back side of the dam there. Oh, while we're talking about it, there is a trailer park there, so people with boats and campers and RVs and all that kind of stuff, you can park your trailers. You have to pay a little bit more a year, but it's nice if you have sailboats and all that kind of stuff. You can park them right there in your neighborhood. So another perk, living in Lake Waukomis. Again, here is that dam view on the dam hill and the dam lake. All right, so here we have South Park, and I'm not talking about the cartoon, I'm talking about South Shore Park. Let's go check it out. Right from the top, looks like they just planted some grass seeds. That's not crime scene tape, but you can see we've got pickleball, we've got tennis, basketball, swing set, playground, bathrooms, pavilion, baseball fields, walking trail, lots of parking. And that's all right up here at the South Shore Park. All right, so here we are at house number 1. It is right behind me right there. This house is coming in at $550. First tier, beautiful flat sloping yard right to the lake. Has a beautiful view of the lake right down the main channel. And this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath coming in at 2,000 square feet. Has a 2-car garage. You come in on the top level, go down some steps. This one has set up like a lake house with the kitchen in the basement. And this could be yours right now for $550, coming in at $275 a square foot. Let's go on to the next one. All right, house number 2. Right behind me, we're coming up on it right now. They've got the really nice retaining wall down here. This home is coming in at $750. It is a 5-bedroom, 3 full bath, a beautiful home, 2-car garage coming in at 3,500 square feet. And this is I'll throw some pictures. This is a personal listing of Mojo Teams. I'll throw some images up so you guys can see the inside of that. But absolutely stunning views from the decks up there and the bedroom. And just an amazing place. 2-car garage on the front. I'm not sure if I touched on that. On the main level, you're gonna have your kitchen, master bedroom, everything you need right there. The kids are gonna be upstairs. And then downstairs, you're gonna have an entertainment area. They've got blackout curtains. They've got a screen that comes out of the ceiling and a projector, and just an awesome place. A little media room down there that walks out to the deck, and then right on down to, well, deck and patio. And then right on down to your private dock and the pontoon, just waiting for you to come out and take a stroll. So a great spot, and that's what we have here. All right, house number 3, it is right behind me. It's this gray one right there. This is one of our personal Mojo listings, so this one I know intimately. This home is a 5-bedroom, 3 full bath, 4 half bath, 2-car garage coming in at $750. This home is out on the main lake, so I'll do a little pan around so you can see that main channel. They call this block the 100 block. It's something in lake properties that's good to know, is oftentimes it depends where the sun's gonna set, where you're gonna get your sunsets, your sunrises, so people take that in consideration. This one is a southern facing exposure, so it's gonna get those sunsets. You're gonna see them right down there on the channel. You get to see everybody out on the main channel. And now I've got to go put my boat into gear so I don't crash. So give me just a second. All right, boat is in gear and we are going safe now forward. So anyway, this is on the main lake. This is a beautiful house. It's been one of my favorites over the years. And like I said, it is in that coveted 100 block. They do have kitchen and living on the main level, which is nice, especially if you don't like all the steps. And then up the stairs is all bedrooms and bathrooms. There is a little seating area. And then of course in the basement, they've got a wet bar. They've got their walkout patio underneath the deck. You've got the deck on top too for sunbathing. And then just a few short steps down to your private dock. The first house I do want to mention did have a private dock as well. All these houses I'm showing you today do have their own private dock. You can put your own boat on that, only you have access to it. You have a pontoon on one side, a john boat on the other, kayaks and paddle boards, all that good stuff. And $750. That's coming in right at $179 a square foot. So hey, as always, I truly appreciate you guys watching these, giving feedback, comments, but really our goal is not to sell you on this lake or another lake, or just to be informative and give you guys some information about lake properties. And so you have a little more information before you move here, you can see what it's like. So anyway, if you found it useful, please give it a thumb up, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. That really helps us and I appreciate that. And just remember, it's about you. So we want to have that conversation with you, see what your goals are so we can help you with that smooth transition. So relax, you have a friend in the business. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.